Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us. Looking at food and children. Something that's very important. Many parents are in busy lives. They want prepared meals. They want to buy prepared foods. Get it to the kids, let them have it, keep them quiet. At the same time, we may or may not be giving them the best food possible. And the more processed it is, possibly, the less nutritious that it is. And we're going to be talking about that with Granetta Coleman. She's a certified Food for Life instructor of the Rooted Dish. And we're going to be talking about raising vegan and vegetarian kids. And Granetta, looking at this Learn, Cook, Live, and we had in 4-H, you are what you eat, food is medicine. Take those last two things. We are what we eat, food is medicine. How does that relate to vegan and vegetarian meals and raising the children on that?
Well, you definitely are what you eat. If you eat animal products, you're probably going to find that when you get older, you're going to have diseases like heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol. If you eat a plant-based, vegan or vegetarian diet, you have a better chance of growing up healthy and not having those diseases and living a longer life. So it's really important to teach them young what the healthy foods are so that they can live as long as possible.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Looking at raising vegan and vegetarian kids, many people say, well, we need milk, we got to have butter and cheeses, all these other types of things so that they'll be healthy. And then when they get in their teen years or go off to university or college and become adults, then they can decide which way they want to go. But you really say that the children need to be raised in essence, from babyhood on. Why is that the fact?
Well, it's really important, first of all, because tastes are developed young. So whatever they have when they're young is probably going to be the taste they're going to want to have when they're older. So if you encourage them to eat more fruits, vegetables, greens, and whole grains when they're young, they're probably going to prefer those foods when they're older. Even if they have a period where they switch off, they'll probably come back to their childhood favorites, right? And it's perfectly healthy for kids to be vegan and vegetarian. Here's an example of a nutrition guide for kids at pcrm.org. You can download it for free. And then that's a picture of my daughter actually doing a high ropes course. She has all the strength that she needs to live an active, healthy, childhood.
Yeah, and she's been raised literally on a vegan diet. But looking at this nutrition for kids over here, so this is really a cute way then to introduce them to this type of lifestyle and food and the taste, correct?
Absolutely. This guide not only teaches the parents what is important about a plant-based lifestyle, but it also has great recipes that your kids can enjoy. So it's a good start.
Yeah, probably a good start for many adults too. Going back to this power plate, we've seen this before, but tell us again how this is important to start sharing this with children at a very young age and let them know why it's important to have this type of power plate, and maybe not the one that they're seeing when they're visiting the neighbors or even at school.
Well, first of all, kids are very, very intuitive, and we read them books about animals being their friends. And when you finally connect the dots and they find out that, the pig that they loved in the book is the bacon that they're eating on the plate, a lot of them are not interested anymore. When they figure out that the meat is the animal, they make that connection. They don't want to eat it anymore. So this power plate shows them what they can eat that will not harm the animals that they have fallen in love with, that we've taught them to fall in love with. And it's also healthier for them, and they're open to those messages of health as well.
I think it's just absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's get into this. You're going to show us some lovely photographs of some of the things that you put together. So let's just go through this healthy diet that we're having and raising vegan and vegetarian kids.
Absolutely. So the first and easiest meal that kids love is fruit. If you cut up fruit for kids or you present it to them, they literally could eat you out of house and home with some fruit. So it's one of the easiest power plate sections to get kids to eat because it's sweet.
Whole grains.
Yeah. So the next one is whole grains, and you can feed your kids whole grain pasta. You can feed them rolled oats, for breakfast or for a snack. It's a great nutritious snack. And you can feed them whole grains in the form of brown rice or barley or quinoa. All of those are very easy to cook, and your kids will enjoy them.
Now, going to this may seem like a childish question, but when you look the two on the right as we're looking at the screen, as far as the whole grain pasta and then the rolled oats and all that, it looks just like the white products that we normally be eating. So, what is the resistance that some people have visually to changing over to this vegan or vegetarian diet when it, quite honestly, looks just like what they're already eating?
I think the resistance is that, we're all raised a certain way. So whatever we ate as children is what we typically continue to eat and feed our children. So I think the resistance is just not knowing, first of all, how easy it is to make the switch and how important it is to make the switch. And once you make that connection, and then you when you're in the grocery store, you just look a little to the left and you find the right thing. It's not as complicated as people think it might be.
So what we need to do then is we really need to learn about and understand the food that we're buying in the stores and make sure that it really meets this vegan, vegetarian standard, but also realize it has much less of what we shouldn't be eating and has much more of what we should be eating. Is that a simple way to describe this?
That is exactly it. And that is the learn and the learn, cook, live.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Vegetables. I love vegetables, and I want you to know, Granetta, even before your class, if I go through a day and I haven't had at least two, usually I try to have 3 servings of vegetables, my body just screams, veggies, 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 literally, and then I have to go get some.
Absolutely. Once you switch over to this lifestyle, your body will crave the foods that it needs and the vitamins and minerals it needs. And vegetables are there's so much variety. You should be able to find some that your kids enjoy.
What are we seeing here? People say, "Oh, that's vegetables. There's no protein. There's no carbohydrates." What are we looking at here as this mix, and why is it so important in the mix that we're seeing to have these vegetables?
Well, one of the most important things that vegetables can give you is fiber. And fiber can play 2 roles in your body. It can fill up your stomach so you're not hungry. And it can also help you have good digestion, good elimination of waste products. So if you're not eating enough fiber, and a lot of kids suffer from constipation, I've raised my daughter to know that, if you don't eat your vegetables, it's not going to come out, your belly's going to hurt. So they can understand that. And they're like, give me that broccoli so that I can, have a nice, smooth life. And so vegetables, in addition to fiber, they also have beautiful colors. which each of those colors mean a different vitamin or antioxidant. So that's protection for your cells. So you want to encourage your kids to eat a broad rainbow of colors so that they get a lot of different protection from their vegetables.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I really wanted to hit those key points, and you did it perfectly. Going to beans. Now, legumes, I know that mushrooms are not part of that, but I haven't seen any mushrooms. Where do mushrooms fit into all this? And I know we're going to talk about legumes right now, but how do mushrooms fit into this whole diet?
So mushrooms would be back in the vegetable section. They'd be sitting on top of that big pile of beautiful vegetables. Yeah. And mushrooms are great. A lot of kids may not be as interested in mushrooms unless you chop them up very fine, because they have a particular texture of, maybe softer that they don't enjoy. So you may have to hide the mushrooms under some rice. But mushrooms are great because they have a lot of antioxidants, and they also give you a chewy texture, which, some kids may miss.
And I didn't realize mushrooms are so high in protein, but I went to the International Mushroom Museum and a little south of Taipei, Taiwan, and I learned a lot more about mushrooms than I ever knew. We always had mushrooms in our house. We had it with many meals, but I didn't realize how important they are. But legumes, tell us about those and why they're so important.
So legumes are important because they are a key source of protein, and you want to make sure that your children are getting the right amount of protein. So legumes are a great source. That would include any kind of bean, any kind of lentil, and any kind of pea. And it also includes soy products. And particularly for girls, research has come out that it's very important for pre-adolescent girls to get a serving of soy a day to protect against breast cancer.
That's incredible. I haven't heard that before. Can you say that one more time?
It's important for pre-adolescent girls to get a serving of soy every day. So that could be in the form of soy milk. It could be in the form of tofu or edamame or tempeh. And to make it fun for kids, you can make a soy milk hot chocolate. You can make a soy milk cold chocolate.
That's fantastic. Okay, now the master chef.
So one way to get kids to eat these vegetables is to let them help you cook the vegetables. So, my daughter has been cooking since she was little. I got this little stand that she could get in and mash up the sweet potatoes for me.
Now, going over these foods, and we're just about out of time, so just tell us what we're looking at here, the mix that we're seeing on the table.
Yep. So another way to get kids to eat is to present things in a bar style. So that means you don't combine everything together. They get to pick what they want. So this is a falafel bar. Those are chickpea fritters, tofu marinated to taste like feta, some tomatoes, some cabbage, and some bread to wrap it in, and hummus.
This is absolutely beautiful. Go ahead.
This is Ethiopian food. So international food can be a great source for kids. These are spiced lentils, some collard greens, their injera, which is teft wheat bread, and some potatoes and tomatoes. And you'd be surprised if you let kids try things, you'd be surprised what they might enjoy.
Of course, we have the fruit and vegetables, and we're going to go off of that. But what do you see people moving to for vegan and vegetarian meals for kids? We got about 10 seconds to do that.
So I think it's really important to just try to encourage your kids to eat from that power plate. And, you can veganize anything, a burger, pancakes, they can all be switched over to plant-based meals.
Granetta Coleman, The Rooted Dish, thank you very much as we create the Emerald Planet.
Thank you.